Hello beautiful people. So I know I missed last week's video, but I was really tired. Been doing a lot lately, but I'm back and today I'm going to be doing my first book review. So today I'm going to be reviewing the book Witch, Unleashed, Untamed and Unapologetic. So this is what it looks like. Sorry, my ring light is reflecting. So it's obviously a book about witches. It's an informative book and it's also one of the first books that I picked up when I first started looking into witchcraft. It starts with how to open a circle, which is super important, and it also ends the book with how to close a circle. So I think that's really cool to have that, and I think it's a really important thing to have in a beginner's witch book. So some other things that this book goes into is lunar cycles, wheel of the year, herbs, crystals, different kinds of witch paths that you can take, or pagan paths. It also goes into candle magic, has a couple of spells, only a couple. It's not a book full of spells, it's just it's very informative, but it does have a sprinkle of spells in there. It also teaches you how to use divination very momentarily. Doesn't go in depth with it. So it talks about oracle cards, scrying, rune reading, all that kind of stuff. One thing that I also really like about this is that it touches on how to create an altar. Even though I'm a big believer in the altar is whatever you feel like should go up there. If you aren't too sure what exactly you should be putting up there, and you want to put something up there, this does go into what are some good ideas to pop into your altar. And I have taken some things from this book and used it on my altar. And it also goes into sacred spaces and the differences between an altar and a sacred space. So I thought that was really important to me because I didn't really know the differences between a sacred space and an altar and the different uses and stuff like that. So like I said, this is the first book that I picked up when I started going into witchcraft and wanting to learn more about Wicca, and I think it's probably the best book I could have picked up to start my journey. It kind of touches on everything but doesn't overwhelm you with information. So I think it's a really awesome beginner's book. And it's also super easy to understand as well. So I've had a couple of other books where it's very informative, but I kind of struggle with the actual understanding of it, and just the way that it portrays it and the way that the author has written stuff down. I'm just kind of oh, I don't really understand what's going on. This is super easy to understand. So the author is Lisa Lister, and she wrote this book so well that I feel like beginners would be able to take this book, like I've been saying, but also intermediate witches will learn things from this book as well. And if you're an intermediate witch, it will also just remind you of a couple of things. So I think it's an awesome book for anyone on any path. So when I was reading this book, as you can see, I still have tabs in it. I could not put it down at all. Even throughout my day, I was excited just to come home and read it. That's how well it's written. And it really keeps you on your toes. It's not just an information dump and kind of boring. It's really interesting, and the way that she has written it all is just it's really reels you in. So my favorite part of the book is the Wheel of the Year section. I never really understood the Wheel of the Year until I actually picked up this book, and it goes into depth of when the Wheel of the Year is. And one hard thing for me is that I live in the Southern Hemisphere, so a lot of information online or in other books, it just automatically puts the Northern Hemisphere in it and leaves out the Southern Hemisphere. So this one actually includes dates for both Northern and Southern Hemisphere, which I thought was super helpful. And she does go in depth of what each Sabbat and Esbat means and what you can do on those holidays, and like what you should be doing and spells for it. And I think it's really cool. It really helps me. It's definitely my favorite. I still have it like pinned. So this one here is for the opening of a circle, this one's for closing, and this one is just for the Sabbats. So I'm still learning about the Sabbats, and I wanted to make sure I can just like quickly go and look at it when I have a new one coming up. And another thing that I really loved about this book, again in the Sabbats and the Wheel of the Year section, is that she does go into what things you should put on your altar for each Sabbats and Esbats, which I really love. I love decorating my altar. I don't usually like change it up that often, like as you can see in the background, that's my altar. But I love like adding new things for the Sabbats and stuff. So I love how in this book she does show what you can add to different Sabbats, Esbats, what you can add to your altar just to go with the Sabbats. So this book was it was my first book, like I've said a couple of times, that I read for when I first started looking into Wicca, and it's the reason why I stuck with this path. It made me feel strong. It made me feel strong for being a woman. It made me feel empowered, and it also helped me with my sexuality, which is weird. You wouldn't think, I'm not saying that you're gonna read this book and you're gonna come out, but it made me comfortable with who I was, and it made me comfortable enough to come out as a lesbian to most of my friends and family, and it made me realize who I was. So it made me feel very empowered and very powerful, and just happy with the person that I am. It woke up a lot inside of me. I would definitely read this book again. I think in like a year's time I'll pick it up and read it again. I'm still reading a couple of other books now, but yeah, this is definitely one that I would go back to. And if I could rewind time, I would definitely pick this book up again and read it all over. It's the best book. So I love this book. But I highly recommend, if you see this book, pick it up for yourself, give it a read. It's honestly, it doesn't look like much and I almost didn't buy it, but it's the best book in my collection. I love it so much. Even though it is the first one, so I feel like I'm a little bit, of course I'm going to say that I love it because it's my first book that I read, like my first witch book that I read, but it really is the perfect book. I would give this book a 9 out of 10. I want to give it a 10 out of 10 so badly, but I don't want to start off this series just like going straight to a 10. And I feel like it would be really hard to get a 10 out of 10. I can't think of anything I dislike about this book. I just love everything about it. If I was being completely truthful, I would say 10 out of 10, but I feel like 10 out of 10 is something like, I don't know, 9 out of 10, like 9.9 out of 10. But yeah, it's just so amazing. Like I said, definitely recommend picking up this book if you see it. Witch Unleashed, Untamed, Unapologetic by Lisa Lister. Definitely pick it up if you see it. But yeah, that's all for my first book review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you kept on seeing me look down during this video, it's because I have my iPad underneath me with my script. So I'm sorry if I was looking down a lot. But yeah, so if you liked this video, make sure to give it a like, comment. If you want me to read any other books and do more book reviews, then definitely let me know. But yeah, thanks. Bye.